Hey, it's Flobo, Boyce, host of New Amsterdam Radio, the crown jewel, if you will, of the New Amsterdam Entertainment Network. But that wasn't always the case. You know, when I first started out this podcast, I had so many questions. How did I get started? How do I distribute my podcast? And frankly, my whole life changed when I found Anchor.fm. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. That's paying the bills, ladies and gentlemen. Anchor.fm. I can't wait for you to launch yours. And when you do, tag a brother. I want to hear it. Let's go.
Welcome, citizens. You're listening to Knew Amsterdam Radio, the podcast for creatives. Here, thinkers and doers always have a key to the city. The mayor is in, so office hours start now.
Welcome back, citizens. New Amsterdam Radio is right now. Thank you so much for checking out this episode and all the other episodes in New Amsterdam canon. The website is newamsterdam.com. It's Flobo. Another week, another day where the sun's rays hit my skin. And I get to thank everyone for checking out the show, supporting my project, supporting the projects of your friends, and just sharing the good vibes. Remember, the best way to help out someone starting out on the creative journey is to like, comment, and share. My guest today is one I have worked with in the comedy circles and in the hosting squares. I don't know, I'm out of shapes. Nikki Bailey is someone who is 100% her, and I love just to watch her work as we dissect shows like Star Trek Discovery or seeing her on stage doing her comedy. And over the past year, even though we were in lockdown, it was always cool to see how Nikki has progressed as a human being and as a creator. So just a few seconds, we'll be having the chat with her. But I just want to say, I want to appeal to you guys. If you like the show, if you like where it's going, you love the interviews we have at New Amsterdam Radio, become a member of our Boisterous Crew. That's patreon.com/FloboBoys. We call it the Boisterous Crew. And by doing so, you unlock bonus interviews, show notes, and more. One more time. Patreon.com/FloboBoys. That's my name. You can even sign up for different tiers to unlock even early access to other shows such as Flobo Saw on Netflix, Draped in Gold, outtakes at drapedingold.com, and other fun stuff. Without further ado, it's my chat with Nikki Bailey. Welcome back to New Amsterdam Radio, the podcast for creatives. My guest is somebody I met on so many different planes on this planet. I know it had to have been destiny. She is not only a host, but she is one of the funniest comedians I ever had the pleasure of working with, and we'll get to that in a minute. Please welcome Ms. Nikki Bailey. How's it going?
Hi, Flobo. It goes.
Yeah.
So good to see you. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for being on the show. I know you're busy doing some other projects and other things going on too, Star Trek Discovery after shows and whatnot. So thanks for being
We were your competition, your Star Trek Discovery competition, or rather, because we couldn't say unless you were when you were not on our show. We would say we are the Star Trek after show.
You guys are.
But when you were on our show, we were Discovery after show.
Can we clear the air? What happened here?
It's all good. I mean, I get it. You decided to break up the band and do your own thing, and
That's
fine.
not what happened. That was not what happened. I thought everyone thought this whole network was dead, so I made my own thing. I had no idea you guys were starting your own, but it was all emotion. And now every time I get invited, I'm like, are you sure Nikki will allow me to be on your show, Christian?
No. I love it when you're on the show. You make me so happy. Your perspective on Star Trek is so lovely because it's not clouded by decades of fandom we're all bogged down in what we want it to be. And you're just enjoying what is. Yeah. And I think there's something nice about that.
I appreciate that. I'm the opposite with Riverdale. It's more like, not my Archie. Like, I'm always like, oh, I can't believe Jughead wouldn't do that. But
I have never seen Riverdale.
Oh, it's a blessing. As an OG fan.
Oh,
it's Archie in name only. Heard that before? So there's a lot to know about you, a lot that I don't know about you, which is why I'm so glad I had a chance to sit with you. Because the first time we met, it was in the comedy space. Like, Nikki Bailey was doing it. She had the headshots with her patted Afro puff against a brick wall. And at the time when I was starting out, I was like, man, you were really killing it. So walk me through that. Like, how did comedy draw you into, using your instrument for good?
Yeah. So when I first moved to Los Angeles, I had been laid off from a corporate training job, and I was like, you know what? I am not going to spend the winter in Philadelphia just looking for a job. That sounds terrible. Yeah. No Arctic vortex for me. So I took my little severance money and I moved to California, and I told everybody I was just coming here for the weather. But the secret reason was that I had this lifelong dream of being a performer and being an entertainer. And I was like, I'm going to go do that. And I didn't tell anybody. I just got out here and I was like, all right, I got here on January 1st, 2015.
Wow.
And I immediately started looking at casting breakdowns for acting jobs, and was immediately, like legitimately the same day, disheartened by what I saw in casting breakdowns. So I'm a fat, black, queer woman. Mm-hmm. And the casting breakdowns, when they would describe African-American women, or they would describe fat women or queer people, they were just so offensive so often. And I was just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be I don't want to be somebody's fat stereotype. I don't want to be anybody's black stereotype. How can I still perform and do it on my terms? And people had always told me I was funny. So I was like, well, why don't I try taking a stand-up comedy class? Yeah. I was just going to take the class and see what it was like. And I took the class and discovered that is the thing I had been waiting for my whole life. I had been waiting to become a stand-up comedian my whole life. I didn't even know it. I got in that class and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm good at this. This feels right to me. And so I just dove in and had a really good time and really wonderful experiences my first few years in the stand-up comedy world. So it's been fun.
Oh, there's a lot to unpack there. So wait, you've been here since January of 2015. Do you celebrate a California anniversary? Is that a thing still with you?
I do not celebrate a California anniversary. In fact, because it was already a holiday, okay. I just, I was like, I don't need to give it anything extra. New year, new location, whatever. It's all good.
I'm in the same boat. My half birthday is also called Christmas. Whatever. It's already a holiday. But you had mentioned the casting breakdowns. Now, I'm not an actor. Usually all my acting roles are friends and be like, hey, man, be in this. But what does that look like for somebody who hasn't seen a casting breakdown before? How can it possibly be offensive?
Sure. So one of the first breakdowns I saw was for, I'm not going to name the film, but it asked for Black women to submit their headshots in 4 different categories. The A category was for thin, light-skinned women with long, fine hair. The B category was for thick, brown-skinned women. Hair didn't matter. The third category was for thick, dark-skinned women with long, curly hair. And then finally, the last one was for, I think they called them hood rats. I think this was the language they used in the casting breakdown. And I was just like, this is disgusting.
Yeah, it sounds
like I was like, this is gross. And like they put so much emphasis on what these women were supposed to look like, but they didn't tell you anything about what the characters were. They didn't say, this character is this, that, or the other thing, and that's why it's relevant that she be light-skinned and thin and long hair. It was just they wanted these particular looks, and they wanted stereotypes. They wanted all the possible African American female stereotypes. And I was so offended by that. And then when the actual movie came out and I saw it, I was like, oh, I get what they were going for, but like,
what was it? Crowd shots? I have no idea. Like, it was like a club, and there were some women who were strippers in like cages, and then there were women who were like shot girls, and then there were just women who were like in the club, like whatever. So it was like. And I understood that they were trying to get a variety of different kinds of African American female faces. Correct.
But they should have just posted that. They should have just said, we're looking for diverse black women. You know, like what they posted was so offensive that I was just like, ew. Like, why would anyone even like? I don't even want to submit to this. Like, what category do I fall under? Am I a hood rat? Obviously, I'm not a hood rat. But I'm not. Like, am I thick, or would I not be, or would I be considered too big to be thick? And then it was like, well, do I even want somebody judging my body that way? Like looking at me and saying, you know what, you're not thick. You're like, well, I'm like, fuck you. Can I curse on your podcast?
Yeah, everyone's a creative. You can express yourself how you see fit. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so just like, I'm not thick. Maybe I am. But I definitely not a hood rat.
I was like, I don't know. I was like suddenly like. It's kind of like one of the weird things of sort of living in a culture where, you know, we live in a white supremacist culture where so much of how we define ourselves is defined by other people. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I just found myself sitting there looking at this casting breakdown, like, I'm supposed to try to find myself in this. Yeah. I'm not in this. This doesn't include me. And I don't want to be included in anything where they try to define me in these ways. Got and it. So that just changed my perspective on what I wanted to do here while I was here, which has also shifted since then. But like, it really became a matter of, I want to do this on my terms, and I want to do it in a way that allows me to represent myself and the communities of which I am a part in ways that would make me feel proud and make me feel happy, and not buy into stereotypes that are created by other people.
It was interesting. I'm not sure it was the first time, but definitely the most memorable time that we shared the stage. And it's kind of weird what it was called now, but there was Richie Lace had his own series of comedy festivals, quote unquote, in Glendale Laughs or Burbank Laughs or Miami Beach Laughs. And the show was called Black Laughs Matter, which I'm sure would be called that today if we were to do a comedy show. And it was at this restaurant in Glendale. So it was like this 2-story thing. And I came after work, looked like a square because I just came from like my day job, and I did all my new material, which you shouldn't do at a festival, but I did it anyway because it was for fun. And
we only had 3 minutes. I think we only had 3 minutes for that set. So like
he booked Tone Bell, which to be fair, you know, he's Tone Bell. You know, 25, and so the rest was like,
What are we gonna do? Yeah.
But I saw when you got on stage. I don't remember your material, but I remember you performing and getting off, and everyone was like, you could tell you hit because everyone was saying your punchlines out loud, like she said this. Like, I was like, to come in there and to command a room in 2.5 minutes and then peace out, drop a mic. I was like, yo, Nikki Bailey, what up? So
that's so funny because I have my memory of that night is that I bombed.
Oh, everyone bombed except for you. It was 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, who's ready to laugh?
It really was. It was like I feel like I left that show like, oh my God, that was terrible. Okay, well, I like your perspective. Your memory of it is better than mine. I'll go with that.
Well, it makes you feel better. I thought I was terrible. Why am I?
You were not. No.
But like, this is a grind we do, especially in LA, where there's so many more comedians for whatever reason. I'm not here to judge than other cities. So we usually work for free, or we have these festival things. Like, how'd that grind affect you as you grew as a comedian?
It actually became burdensome at some point. You know, like because in addition to comedy is the only art form where you have to rehearse in front of an audience. The only way you know that you're funny is if people laugh, right? So you have to rehearse in front of people. And so part of that is open mics and doing like rinky-dink shows that that are in the back of like a restaurant, and there's like a party in the room next door, and there's like a DJ up front, but you're still doing comedy. It's a lot of it's a big commitment, first of all, you know, to writing, to perfecting jokes, to doing mics, to doing shows, to traveling, to doing shows. So it's a lot. And I did kind of burn out. I think after my first 4 years, I think, you know, up until 2019, I was like going strong. I was doing shows every single week. And then 2019, I was like, wow, I'm exhausted. And part of that is, you know, in Los Angeles, it's really difficult to stand out. It's a very heavily saturated industry here in terms of the number of comedians. And so in order to stand out, you have to grind like other people. You have to just grind. You have to constantly be, what is my next gig? Who do I need to talk to? What is the networking I need to do? You know, there's just a lot of work to staying booked. And I think so I got to 2019 and I was like, I need to take a breath and reevaluate why I'm in Hollywood and what I'm doing here and why I'm here, what I'm working toward. And in the process decided to start a sketch comedy group, called FATCH Comedy, which is fat plus sketch equals FATCH. We are a fat. We are a sketch comedy. It's a math reference. We are a fat sketch comedy team. All the members and writers are fat women, and so I kind of shifted my focus from stand up to to doing sketch comedy, and so that's where I've been for the last. That's kind of what my focus has been for the last 2 years, I suppose.
Allow me. I'll ask a question, and I don't want to come off as crude or crass, but can someone like disqualify themselves over time, like in a member of fat?
If they lost weight?
Yes. Thank God. I don't know how to say this. Like, if someone lost weight on your program, like, is that a thing where they can stay with it, or?
You know what's really funny? Fat is such a subjective word, right?
Agreed.
So like in the group, there is a large range of large women. So like we have women who are as small as like a size 14, and we have women who are as large as like a size 32. And so we kind of let people self-identify. So like some of the people who write for us, if I looked at them, I would not think they were fat, but they identify as fat. And so, and because they identify as fat and they feel they're having the experience of being a fat woman in America, I'm like, well, then I can't tell you what your experience is or is not. And they write genius sketches. So write sketches for us. Yes. And even if you, to me, don't look like someone I would think of as fat, if you are someone who understands what that means to be a fat person in America, right, then you have something to contribute, and we would love to talk to you. We would love to work with you. We would love to hear what you have to say. And one of the things that we find is that women of all sizes come up to us after our shows and say, "Ugh, I so love that sketch about how you hate diets," or I love that sketch about how you wanted to stab the woman who said that you looked too big in those pants. Because at the end of, you can always tell it's a sketch I wrote because I kill somebody. I kill somebody in all my sketches. It's like the best. It's like the best way for me to work out my rage is to get to create characters who can kill people.
Oh,
so I have
murder.
Murder. So I have a character called Buffy the Fat Hater Slayer.
Okay.
And she teaches people of size to stab people who make fat phobic comics at them. And
with
and
what?
so
like a steak or a knife
with
whatever
you have handy. She says
discriminate.
No, she says that she carries a pick. She carries a pick both for her afro and for the times where she needs to stab somebody with it. So
multiple times,
yeah. So no, you can't. And so once you're in FATCH, you're. I won't say you're a member for life because that's not true. But you can't like lose weight out of it. The other thing is, the members of FATCH generally are kind of anti-diet culture in the first place, so we're not really we probably would not likely to be on diets, though that's everybody's personal business and not mine. I don't have a right to comment on everybody's bodies. So
fair enough. I mean, as somebody who was also morbidly obese the majority of my life, up until my early 30s, you know, I like because in my mind's eye, I'm still 24 years old. This is not true. And 280 pounds, which is also not true.
Right.
I was 375 when I went to the gym the first time. And I always wondered if, like, we were more acceptant of people of different body types. A lot of the strife we give other people, for your sake, for shaming them for diet culture, not diet culture.
Right.
Their skill level at any craft because they look a certain way or that
right.
or anything. So I like the fact you're an advocate for fat acceptance. Is pretty awesome.
Yeah, one of our members is actually a triathlon athlete. She does. She also does. What's the one? Whatever. I'm not going to try to tell you anything about sports because I know nothing.
Like
but she does a decathlon. Thank you. That's it. She does a decathlon, and she's not. She is a fat woman, and she does the whole nine. And so there are so many sort of things that the assumptions that people make about fat people, about people who live in fat bodies, are some of the content that we really deal with in FATCH. Is like we make jokes about it. Like we say things like, "I'm so FATCH. How FATCH are you? I'm so FATCH that when I go to McDonald's to place my order, they're like, would you like the usual?" So we do stuff like that. That's actually Gloria De Leon's joke, or it might be Katie O'Hearn's. I can't remember whose, but it's somebody's joke on my team. And so the idea is like we are poking fun of ourselves a little bit, but most of it is poking fun and sort of revealing to people what diet culture looks like from the perspective of a big person, and what the conversation, and just the conversations that all of us have. We have a sketch that's called Diet Sketch, and it's these three thin women talking about the diets they go on. And, they get down to the point where they eat human babies. Like, they're just like, because they heard that Kourtney Kardashian lost weight that way. So,
gotcha. Yeah. Timely.
So it's like, we're taking those things that people just sort of, that we just take for granted, like we don't question that there's a diet commercial on every other commercial break. We don't question the fact that when you go to buy a snack, it's really big letters, gluten-free, 100% fat-free. Like we don't question the fact that our doctors are telling us that BMI is the most important indicator of health, but it's not. That actually the BMI indicates nothing. So what we do is, in the process of making you laugh, we're educating you about diet culture and about how to love the body you're in on any given day. It's great that you lost as much weight as you lost, but you know what? I bet you at 375 were just as wonderful and charming and funny as you are now. So like, and in fact, I think I've seen pictures of you when you were larger, and you're a handsome guy, But what's interesting is that, like, it's great that you did what you wanted to do to take care of your health and to take care of yourself and to feel good about yourself. But our message is, you don't have to change anything about who you are in order to be lovable. You don't have to change anything about who you are to be capable, to be able. You don't have to change anything about who you are to be desirable. And you definitely don't have to change anything about who you are to be fucking funny. Mm. And we are fucking funny, and we are funny, and we talk about weight without making fat jokes at the expense of fat people. So right. I feel like fat jokes at the expense of fat people, that's such low hanging fruit. It's so hack. I can't. I'm just ew.
It's funny because it's hilarious if it's in the context of like if it appeared in a show 70 years ago. It's kind of like,
right.
Okay, yeah, like I Love Lucy or Honeymooners, but yeah, you're right. You do it now, it's kind of like, oh, you're just being mean. Like, it's totally not the same thing.
Yeah,
sensibilities have changed and shifted.
Sensibilities have changed, but also like there's so much happening in the world that you could talk about that's actually got good like that where there are laughs to be found everywhere. And you can, just like we don't, it would be, a white comedian making a racist joke. To me, it's the same when a thin comedian makes a fat phobic joke. It's like how the hell? Who the hell do you think you are?
Yeah. I was probably off topic, but there was a big controversy, 10 years ago or like 8 years ago with the comedian Nicole Arbor having a similar video about that, how it went viral about just saying that, you ate sick, that kind of deal, if you are a heavier individual. And I remember people were asking me as a comic what I thought about it. And I was like, well, it's not really funny, but also my entire matriarchal side of my family are heavy set, and I always felt like an attack on them as well. But
yeah,
so glad you're fighting a good fight, Nikki. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I like to fight anyway. Anger is my most comfortable emotion.
People die in my sketches.
They do. I'm not gonna lie. People die in my sketches, which is like sketch comedy 101, right? Like when you take your first sketch comedy class, they're like, please do not kill all your characters. You have to be more creative and find another way out for them to have another way out of the situation. But honestly, sometimes some characters need to die.
Yeah.
So those are the characters I kill.
Well, speaking of killing,
segue.
I didn't know this until very, very recently, but you had a background in seminary. Like you were studying to be a I guess you are. I'm not you studying. You are. forget ing. You are a graduate of seminary school, correct?
I am. I went to Union Theological Seminary, and I have a Master of Divinity degree, which is the same degree that pastors get. For pastors who go to seminary. I went, and my focus, my concentration was on worship in the arts and womanist ethics. And so I did a lot of finding creative ways to do ritual, finding creative ways to do worship, to do community building and community gathering. And then also a lot on just sort of the ethics of social justice in this country and what that means for people and their faith, so for me, the big takeaway is that if you look at the Christian message, you should be focused on the message of justice. And that to me is what Jesus was all about. Jesus was martyred because he wanted justice and equality for all. And so that's when I think about my spirituality, and as I call myself Christian plus. So I'm Christian mostly,
Christian plus,
but
like Disney plus, like a subscription.
Yeah, it's like the basic Christian, right?
Right.
But like add some other shit on it. I'm like a little witchy. I like Buddhist philosophy. There's I like metaphysical new agey crap. I like all that stuff. Yeah. And even if I were to tell people my theology, my personal theology about Jesus, most mainstream Christians wouldn't agree with me, but I still identify as Christian plus. And I originally went to seminary thinking that I would take my seminary training into my career as a television producer, because I was a TV producer at the time, and that I would, produce content that was inspirational or use television as a way to sort of help with social justice. And I did some of that. I worked on some really amazing projects where I got to marry my theological seminary education and my television career. And then I kind of let it go for many, many years. And so, though I am still paying for it. Just to be clear, I'm still paying.
Nikki?
I will be paying for that education until I die, unless I get a show or deal on like HBO. Holla at your girl if you want. I get you a special right cheap. All we gotta do is pay off my student loans and we'll be good. But I am now, like I said, I've spent some time sort of reevaluating what I want from this Hollywood experience and what I want to do as a performer, as an entertainer. And what I really want is to get back to my original goal, which was to, help people, to use my skills as an entertainer, as a performer, as a host, MC, in all the different things that I do, to use that as a way to help people get more pray, more play, and more slay in their lives. Okay. So, that's my. So I'm launching a podcast this year. The podcast is called Fun, Faith, and Fuckery, and the goal is just that, to help people get more pray, more play, more slay in their lives, and and then you can believe what you want, and you can have you can be free of religion and still have a relationship that is spiritual, and you can still curse. I do jokes. I don't know if you've ever seen any of the jokes I do about church and my jokes about Jesus, but God is hilarious. God has like a sense of humor, like a motherfucker. God is like funny as hell. Yeah. Sorry, that just made me laugh. God is funny as hell. But
got it. Sorry, public school. My bad.
Took a minute. I know, it's okay. So I think God is funny. I think spirituality is fun and funny. I think church is hilarious and terrifying. And so we're going to talk about all those things, and we're also going to just talk about just life in general, and the world, and how we're all dealing. And that's what the podcast is going to be about. So I'm excited to launch it. I'm hoping for late March, early April. So.
Oh, just in time for Easter. I see how you're working.
Just in time for Easter. You see that?
Yeah, I like it. No, but so you think with your podcast, your other projects, you're doing the Lord's work, or the Lord's plus work?
Yeah. I do feel, I don't know, that I almost never use the term the Lord. It's too hierarchical and patriarchal for me. Patriarchal for me. So is it the Lord's work? It is. Yes, I think it's part of my calling. It's part of, but I also feel comedy is part of my calling. Like, I feel like comedy is a ministry. I feel like all of this work that we do is a ministry. We were given these gifts for a reason. We were given these gifts to brighten other people's lives, to bring some sunshine and some light and some joy, to call attention to some things that need to be called out, that need to be taken care of, that society needs to address. And the great gift of being comedians is that we can do that while making people laugh. Like, we can make you think while you're laughing. You could be peeing yourself and having a deep thought at the same time.
A deep thought? Why am I peeing on myself? Because
a deep thought, like Jack Handy style, deep thought while you're peeing yourself. I just made a reference that you're too young to get, so that's okay.
The thing is, if anyone's watching the video version of this, like, you look like we're the same age. That's the thing that trips me out. Like, you don't age at all. Like, at all.
I know, I don't want to brag or anything, but...
Yeah, I think one time you showed me your ID, I was like, stop. Why would you get this fake ID? Why would you do that? He's like, no, it's actually my ID.
Yeah, I used to, when I first moved here, I used to be really careful not to tell people how old I really am, because I didn't want to get pigeonholed. And then I had an agent tell me, well, because I'm 47 and I look like I'm in my early 30s. And then I had an agent say, if you look like you're in your early 30s, then people are going to believe you're in your early 30s. So don't, so it doesn't matter if they know my actual age or not. If you just by looking at me, you would never think that I'm almost 50, but I got the brain of an almost 50-year-old, meaning there is both wisdom and a lot of forgetfulness. Like, if I get up from here right now to go into another room to find my glasses, I will forget why I went into that other room every single time.
I've been 50 for 20 years then. I've been 50 forever. That's all it takes? Wow.
That's I have all these. So my grandfather used to call them, instead of Alzheimer's moments, he would call them old-timers moments.
I did.
So I have these old-timer, things like Did you know you could throw your back out by just putting on a pair of jeans? I did not know that until I got to this age. So, yeah, it's
sneezed once.
Me too. I sneezed once and threw my back out.
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
The fear that rushes my body every time I had to see it. It's like, no, not now. No, I'm getting groceries.
I can't take it. I can't. I'm out of muscle relaxers. I can't. No, yeah.
For real.
It's real. The struggle is real. The aging struggle. Yeah.
But you're going to kill it. I can't wait till your podcast launches. I'll definitely be checking in for that. Nikki Bailey, thanks so much for being on the show. Here's the deal. This is where you tell me where I can find you all over the social media networks, all the different projects working on. Lay it on me.
You can find me at Nikki Bailey _ on all the social medias except Snapchat because I don't understand it. And then also, you can do even on Pinterest. That's where I am, even though I don't use it. And then you can find me at NikkiBaileyComedy.com. And it's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to launching this podcast. It will be on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wherever else Flobo tells me to put it. Because Flobo is going to be coaching me through how to become a media mogul like he is.
I wish I was a mogul, but I'll definitely help.
But you have the foundations of mogulation.
True.
Like you are foundationally ready to mogul up. I think it's happening for you.
I appreciate that. That's the nice thing you ever told me, Nikki. For real.
Yeah. No. I think you're amazing. So I can't wait. And I'm so glad I know you because when you level up, I know you're going to take, you taking everybody with you. So
absolutely.
I'm just going to ride your coattails to the top.
Don't say it like that. Just say my podcast would be great. I'll get high booked. I'm a ride right. My podcast is going to be awesome and it'll be great. But mostly I'm just going to be in Flobo's entourage. And, we have to do a show together for sure. If you do the comedy,
definitely. I would love that. Well, I haven't done any stand up in a long time. Have you been doing stand up on Zoom and all those kinds of? Have you been doing those kinds of shows?
I did it once for a friend of mine, Hamza Khan. I'm not sure if you know him. He's another former host at AfterBuzz, and I helped a friend out, but I don't like it. Because
I didn't either.
Forget the feedback. It is something disheartening to see so many people with the red mic logos, so they turned off their microphones. So it's even worse than having no response. It's like you imagine them like on their phones or turning away or Netflix and chilling.
Like I just know they're playing Sudoku on their phone and not listening to a thing I'm saying right now. Yeah, I found the Zoom comedy shows just really disheartening. That they they're kind of demoralizing. You walk away like, I don't know if it was good.
I think that's a quote, straight up. What am I doing this for? Let's
Why am I doing this?
But,
yeah.
Thanks so much for listening to Knew Amsterdam Radio. Learn more about the show at knewamsterdam.com. That's KNEW Amsterdam.com. Until next time, this city is yours.